Hey, what's up beautiful people on YouTube watching this video? Hope you guys have been having an incredible 2025 so far. For myself, the last quarter has gone incredibly well. In fact, my main startup, Glorify.com, has recently been acquired by another company. I can't really speak about it that much until we do a public announcement, so do stay tuned. But for this video, what I actually want to talk about is some of the incredible results we've been able to achieve with my productivity tool startup, Blitzit. It's this desktop app over here that essentially turns all of your digital clutter into an actionable to-do list. It's got integrations with Google Calendar, Notion, and more integrations coming soon. And it's got a very gamified experience, so as you complete tasks, it just really motivates you to do more. And the coolest part about this app is that you can collapse it into a little tiny focus timer. And on top of that, we also recently launched our mobile apps both on iOS and Android, and that's been taken up really well. And taking a little quick peek at the numbers here, we're already on track to hitting $2,000 for the day. In fact, yesterday we hit a very similar target of $2,000. We're getting anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 daily, which is fantastic. Net over the last 3 months, over the last quarter, is $238,000. Which is a 66% increase compared to the last quarter, where we hit $142,000. And the coolest part is that we're also growing our MRR in parallel. So our monthly recurring revenue is currently at $3,400 and consistently growing. You can see this upward trajectory over here. But what's really cool about this model is that we're both getting cash up front in volume so that we can kind of pay for our overheads and grow our cash balance whilst also growing our recurring revenue, because no doubt recurring revenue is the holy grail for any software business. So it's very important to grow that. And in this video, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what led to these results and whether or not you can implement this same playbook into your own business. So stay tuned. Let's jump into it. All right. Now, just before I get into the whole model that we're running here and the playbook, I want to give you a little bit of background story behind Blitzit and why we started to build Blitzit in the first place. Now, for context, my main startup that I run is Glorify.com. As mentioned, that startup has recently been acquired by another company. I started working on Glorify in 2016. We launched it in 2019. At the time, it did incredibly well. It's a graphics creation tool for e-commerce entrepreneurs and digital marketers. In our second year, we crossed almost $1.5 million in revenue, and we had a lot of key differentiation. That's why we did really well in the market. And that's really important, by the way, for running this model, is that you need a very unique differentiation and you need to have a very delightful product experience as well. Those are the two ingredients for this model to work. And by 2021, we raised a $2 million seed round led by Fuel Ventures UK. Now, you'd think money solves everything. It wasn't the case for us. The space got increasingly competitive. We were surrounded by industry giants like Canva, Figma, Adobe, and the rest. And our revenue started to plateau. And we're trying everything to grow Glorify, but we're struggling so much. And May 2022 came along. My second son was born. And for the first time in a long time, I was able to switch off from Glorify. And honestly, Glorify was exhausting me. I was burnt out, I was overworked, and nothing I did was actually working anyway. So it was a good time for me to kind of switch off and spend, quality time with my family in this special time. And of course, when you have a child, some of you guys may know that there's a lot of waiting around as a dad, right? Well, mom and the boy was sleeping. So I took this opportunity to up my game on Figma. Now, I'm already a designer. I graduated in motion design. I was very familiar with designing user interfaces and websites on Figma. But where I was lacking was sort of the design systemization and prototyping. So that's where the bootcamp came in. I wanted to really upskill in these areas. And during the bootcamp, I took the opportunity to actually design a productivity tool that I'd been dreaming about for years. I always had the ideas in my mind, but I just never had the time and the space to actually execute those ideas, of course. This productivity tool is an amalgamation of a lot of productivity tools that I use and I love, but reimagined in my own way into Blitzit. And so by the end of the bootcamp, I had this fully tactile prototype of Blitzit that was very close to the real experience. And I thought, it'd be really cool if we were able to build this tool, right? So I showed it to my friend Ronok, who's a colleague who worked on and off at Glorify as well, was a phenomenal developer and CTO and had his own team in India. He took a look at the tool, he fell in love immediately and instantly started brainstorming different approaches for the tech stack. And we had a winning tech stack very early on. And from that moment, we thought, look, why don't we just co-found this tool together? We really believe in the idea, and it's gonna be a fun project. We're both super busy with our own full-time work, but we can just sort of build this on the side, and that's exactly what we did. So we started building Blitzit on the side in our spare time in 2022 throughout 2023, and that's pretty much it. That's the story of how Blitzit was born. And so what I'd like to do now is jump into a quick screen share session on my computer where I can walk you through the exact steps that we took while Blitzit was being developed in the background by my co-founder, Ronak, the steps I took to launch an early access campaign that eventually led to these incredible results that we've been able to achieve recently. So let's jump into it. All right, so jumping into the screen share session to kind of run through this model. Now I've divided this video into 8 parts. We already actually completed intro and context. And so jumping into this next part here, which is, can it be done with anything? Can it be done with any business, product or service? The answer to that question is no. It can only be done with software and applications that has a sense of impulse buy. And the way you create impulse buy is by doing 2 things. Number 1 is you solve a dire need or pain point of a specific target customer via a software application. And if there's already multiple contenders in the marketplace solving that problem, you can also implement the second thing, which is create a delightful experience, right? You should be doing that anyway, right? And you shouldn't be just focused on the solution, because today, by creating a delightful experience, you make the product more stickier. And in some cases, you can completely differentiate your solution by just a phenomenal UX, a phenomenal design. And that's what we've done with Blitzit, as you can see. I mean, if you look at Blitzit, it's a to-do list application. There's hundreds of to-do list applications, but what we've managed to do, as you can see from here, is that we've created a very unique experience. We've made this ever accessible panel of your daily tasks. It's super actionable, and it's just a very delightful experience, especially with its gamification mechanics and everything else, right? And people love it, right? And it's because of the UX, right? And so that's really important, those 2 parts. Solve a big dire need or pain, and also make sure you have a delightful design, a delightful user experience. And so you can see my process on Figma over here during the early stages was creating a page on Figma for research, where I'll just drop a bunch of ideas for the styles that I want to implement. As you can see, all these kind of holographic gradients, that's the style that we've actually implemented on Blitzit. Shout out to Daniel, who kind of inspired me with this type of theme. And then, started collecting ideas of productivity tools that I actually use. The best opportunities are finding gaps in tools that you already use. And I was using tons of different productivity tools before, and I found gaps that I wish they solved, and I was able to actually solve it with Blitzit. And you can see some of the more earlier iterations of Blitzit in my first designs. Far off to what it is now, but you can get an idea, right? And from here, you just keep iterating and improving it, getting feedback from friends and colleagues. And you can see even more earlier designs over here, super like basic sketches, which then kind of evolved to this, and then evolved further and kept evolving to eventually we came closer to what Blitzit is now, which is, as you can see, this design is much more of a closer match to what we have right now. And that really is the process, just an iterative design process. And if you're not a designer, if you're just a founder, then of course, you need to get some help from a professional UI, UX designer, right? And there's tons of amazing, incredibly talented UI, UX designers that are available. So that's my process for the design. I am going to go back into my list and we're gonna mark this part as done. All right, so jumping into our early access campaign, you can see over here, we started out by throwing up a Framer landing page for the early access page. This is my first landing page that I ever designed on Framer. This is actually when Framer came out, and I took it as an opportunity to start to play around with it, and I was just blown away. And so I built this a really simple landing page with a get early access button that would then throw up a sign up form or lead capture, and then we would just collect information like, what operating system they'd want to use Blitzit on, because it's a desktop app, and then we'll just collect those leads via FormSpark. So it says from Spark, that's a mistake, FormSpark, and then we would be able to kind of do some remarketing at a later stage. And we did some light emailing to kind of keep them informed and keep them excited that, we've got this application coming soon, so stay tuned. So that kind of thing. So very simple funnel. We also had a blog up there as well, which, I'm a big believer in organic traffic, and you have to start this thing early. So we just threw up a couple of articles, and once the blog is up there, we have the opportunity to kind of incrementally publish content. And organic is king, so it's good to start early. It takes a long time to build up. But overall, the traffic came from my personal brand, my YouTube, my Instagram, other channels, and I had email lists. The way we were actually showcasing this product, despite it not being developed yet, was that we already had a prototype available. So as mentioned, I designed this prototype on Figma. Here's the prototype. It's a fully tactile prototype that feels like the real thing. So you just simply create a list, you add a title to the list, you create it, and then you open the list. Here's the list view. You can even drag some of these cards around, and then you can add a task if you like, or just see how that looks. And then Blitz Now, which is the focus experience. And then initially we had this widget here to kind of collapse and go into the little timer, which is draggable. You can go into the notes mode. You can, play around with these little interactions, as well as go into like mark a task done, and then go into your break or go to the next task, and so on and so forth, right? And yeah, that's how that works. And we also have the task due experience. We'll click resume. And the most important part is the success experience, which is this part over here, marking a task is done and seeing that fun little GIF, celebratory GIF, right? And so that is really the prototype. And I recorded this prototype on a video, threw that up on this landing page. This was the first landing page we built on Blitzit, right? If you look at it, the Blitzit homepage, it's way better. But this is how things start off, right? And it's not too bad. It was a simple page. These icons are no longer functional, but with these, we had unique icons to showcase the different features that we're going to launch with, and our big why. Like, why were we even launching this tool? And the reason behind it, our philosophy was clear. Like right now, project management tools are bloated and exhausting. They're great for the big picture, team workflows, which is fantastic. And that's why we integrate with these tools like Notion and ClickUp coming soon and others. But we wanted something that was less distracting, that allows users to focus on their daily lists, right? And so that's the idea. And so here's the big why. And we would get people to sign up, because I just regularly post about my progress building public on Indie Hackers, on Instagram, on Facebook, friends, colleagues, wherever, to slowly keep growing this list. And initially this is the navigation now, but when we launched, as showed you earlier, we had a big get early access button. So that is the early access launch during 2022 and 2023, consistently collecting leads. In fact, we had an upgrade in 2023 where we switched up the landing page, because by 2023 we already had like a working alpha that I was able to play around with, right? And so now we have some real product shots. We were able to kind of beef up the landing page, and it was much closer to what you see now today if you go to blitzit.com. And we had all the features showcased there, and we also had a Product Hunt shipping launch page. Product Hunt used to have this cool feature where you can create an upcoming product launch page. And the cool thing about that is that, it gets distributed to the Product Hunt user base for people who are interested in future launches in specific categories. And we actually collected, between like my own personal brand and the Product Hunt audience, 20,000 subscribers, which was crazy. And I had this little cool product video over here showcasing the vision of Blitzit and how it can really benefit people, right? And that video is available on YouTube. I'll link it in this video below so you can check that out. And so that was, again, just the maturity of that initial early access funnel to just a better version, right? But same logic, just capturing leads, sending that to FormSpark, and collecting those leads via Zapier so that we can hold them for a future campaign when we actually go public, right? I call this process iterative funnel hacking, right? Where basically building the funnel iteratively and keep improving on it. You need to start somewhere. It's going to be basic at first, it's not going to be perfect. And through feedback, through kind of your product development cycles, you keep maturing the landing page and the experience, right? And then finally, 2023 comes along, October, which is our first beta launch, right? So I'm going to mark early access launch as complete. I'm going to go into what we did during the beta launch. All right, so we're jumping into our first ever paid campaign, which we ran towards the end of 2023. So as a quick reminder, we're mostly doing an early access lead capture campaign throughout 2023 organically. And then as we came towards the end of 2023, we're coming close to Black Friday. We believed and had confidence in our product that it was ready. I mean, it didn't have all the bells and whistles, but it definitely was able to give value to the users. It had the to-do list. You can create tasks, you can add notes, you can collapse it into a little focus timer, and it had some of the gamification features as well as the reporting, right? That's all we needed to give some basic value to our users and to run an early access campaign with a paid offer. So once we had that confidence, it's important to start early in time for a Black Friday campaign. Black Friday is always a great time to launch a product because people are looking for products, they're willing to spend their money. And hence we always typically start our first product launches on Black Friday if we can, of course if the timing's right? And so in this case it was ideal. And so we're driving traffic primarily through my personal brand, the email list again, but we're also going into what we call early adopter lifetime deal groups, which there's many of these Facebook groups that are interested in lifetime offer for software. You can go check out my other video on my YouTube channel where I actually coach a startup on creating a successful lifetime deal campaign, and I go through a lot of the popular groups there. A lot of these owners of the groups become affiliates as well, and they have their affiliate sites, and so that was the main kind of strategy. The funnel was really simple. We just took the exact same landing page over here and just switched it to a different call to action, which is get Blitzit now. And then they choose on the form whether they're a Windows user or an Apple user. And once they proceed to sign up on our website, we collect their email and shoot them a email with the download links and the links to our Discord community and support, right? And once they download and install the application, they start a 7-day trial. And now this is really key for us. We made sure we engineered and designed a really powerful onboarding sequence, which really drove the user into that aha moment. In fact, I'm going to quickly show you what that looks like. I've got my staging app over here, so I'm going to go ahead and type Omar test, click next. This is where another chance for people to actually join our communities on Facebook or Discord, and then they click get started. Now this opens up a browser as soon as you click get started to this kind of get started page, and this is important for both tracking for our own analytics as well as for our referral system. If the user clicks jump into Blitzit, it just goes back into Blitzit. Now I've got the main app open here, so we don't want to open that. I'll just manually go back to the staging app, which is this one. I just want to minimize everything here to give you a clean experience. This is what the dashboard looks like as soon as you sign up. There's a big widget over here encouraging you to buy the lifetime offer. And you can see it's running out. So there's a lot of FOMO in there. There's a coupon code as well, and they can choose to upgrade at any time. But what's really key is this onboarding tour, right? So we get them to create the first list. They can type any list that they want, work, let's just say, click create. Now that's been created. And then you open that first list, and there's some preset tasks that's already been added over here. And then we encourage the user to click Blitz now, which is the key experience, right? The focus mode, which is like the real aha moment. And then from here, we get them to click done, right? Because this is another key moment, a value moment, which is the success moment, the feel-good effect of Blitzit. And then we get them to click the next task to show how it feels to gain momentum. And then we get them to click focus mode to see how it collapses. And then the task title here is mark me as done. So we get them to do that again and then just show them really how they can really gain some momentum by using our app. And then finally, we get them to take a break, right? And then the tour is completed. And there's a gamification element of the help center, which you can see now we've completed 3 out of 5. And then we actually get them to complete all these different tasks so that, they just get to know the app. And they're also encouraged to get to know the app because there's a gamification element. You want to complete all the steps, right? And really, that's how the onboarding works. And this is one of the reasons we're able to get so much upside because of the onboarding. Now, once they go through the onboarding, they start to use the application, but we also were coming close to November 24th, which was the ending of our Black Friday offer, the lifetime offer with the 30% discount that we were offering at the time. So we start to shoot out a barrage of emails, 3 sequence emails, not too many, to encourage them to purchase. And the email would kind of have some messaging around, why we're doing this offer, what's our philosophy around Blitzit and why we're building Blitzit, what we're trying to solve. And then we go into like some FOMO type of emails, like, look, this is the best price you'll ever get it. Buy it now before it runs out. This is our Black Friday offer, etc. Right? And in fact, even on our website, we'd have some scarcity reinforced. So if you come to our website, we used to have this little countdown timer banner at the bottom right with the Black Friday offer. And this is the one that we had recently, which was the New Year lifetime deal offer. But at the time it had a 2023 Black Friday messaging with a countdown timer, right? So these kind of mechanics really helps drive FOMO, drive scarcity. So people are encouraged to purchase, right? And so we'd have these things running through the landing page experience. And we also have those countdown timers that I showed you earlier inside of the application, similar to the one that you see over here at the moment. So there's scarcity hitting you on all fronts, right? Email, inside the application, and on the website. And the way the upgrade experience looks like, if their trial runs out, they are forced to upgrade, or they can upgrade at any point during the trial. But it essentially looks like this. Here's the upgrade pop-up. For example, if I choose the lifetime offer and I click pay now, it would then take me to a Stripe page where I can proceed to complete my purchase, right? Now, notice how in this funnel throughout, we are relying on people to download the application to then proceed to purchase, which we learned the hard way, which is not the best for conversions. You should always have a way for people to also buy directly on the website. And we solved that later in 2024, which I'll get into later. But for this time, we had to rely on people purchasing inside of the application. And that was pretty much it. That's what we ran during 2023 Black Friday. And what did we get out of 2023? We generated almost $20,000 or $17,000 in net during, by the end of December 2021, right? So we kept the campaign running throughout December as well. And that was really helpful because we were able to now take that cash and essentially go into 2024, which is 12 months of trial and error experimentation to make sure that we optimize our funnel and just improve it even more so that we can have an even better 2024 Black Friday. So going into our Stripe account, you can see in fact the difference, right? You can see this was October 2023 where we geared up for this Black Friday launch. And in November 2023, we hit $14,000 in sales. And in December, it was just $4,000 in sales. And that's what kind of makes up that, $17,000 to $20,000 in net between Black Friday all the way to New Year, right? So that's what we were able to generate from that campaign in our first launch, which is not bad. It's not terrible, of course, but it's nothing compared to what we generated in 2024. So I'm sure you guys are going to be really excited about, okay, what changed between here and here, right? Between Black Friday 2023 and Black Friday 2024, which I'm going to get into. But first, let's go ahead and mark our beta launch 2023, and let's go into the next part, which is the 12-month trial and error experiments that we ran during 2024, and then leading up to our Black Friday sale in 2024. All right, we're back again. I took a bit of a break, but that's helped me re-energize for this next part over here, which is what we did after our 2023 Black Friday launch. Throughout 2024, most of 2024, we did 10 months of trial and error to come up with some winning angles and of course improve the product. So let's jump into that part. Because of the sale that we did during 2023 Black Friday, which continued up to December 2023, and we even had a flash sale in January 2024 as well. And so by the time we closed the lifetime deal, we closed at, we had a cash balance of $20,000 net to play around with, which was super helpful because we now have this buffer time to play around and experiment with different ad campaign ideas, right? And so this is really important to buy us that time, of course. And meanwhile, the development team were kind of working with these cohort of users that came on board to gather their feedback and implement some of these important improvements that they were requesting. So 2024 was a fantastic year in terms of product. We were able to release our Google Calendar integration as well as our Notion integration. So we did a lot there. But I want to go into some of the details over here. You can notice that as soon as January 2024 came along, we switched off our lifetime deal and we switched to what we call an Evergreen campaign. So what an Evergreen campaign is, whatever we did during Black Friday, which is a limited campaign over a space of a couple of weeks or a month, right? When you do a campaign like that and you realize, it works and you get success out of it, you can turn the messaging and the kind of funnel and buying journey into an Evergreen campaign, meaning the campaign is consistently running for every user that runs into the funnel. And so that's what this funnel is over here. We called it the 2024 Road to a Million. And we switched this campaign into an evergreen campaign so we can keep running traffic through our funnel, and everyone that goes into the funnel experiences their own exclusive scarcity based on cookies and based on, when their trial starts inside of the application. And so each user has a specific opportunity or time frame to actually purchase the lifetime deal, right? So there's FOMO for every user that enters the funnel throughout the year. And that's the basics of an evergreen campaign. The way we do this is we throw up the landing page on Framer again. Again, the call to action is to get the application. And then we go into a download page. This time, instead of shooting an email over to download the app, we do both. We actually send them to a download page, but we also deliver an email as well. Why do we need a download page? Because we want to track leads, right? So the whole point is that when you start to drive traffic via ads, you have to have robust tracking in place. So you need these different touch points from the main homepage to after downloading the app, the download page. This is after we've captured emails. You need to rely on a browser page to be thrown up so that we can actually implement the tracking. Otherwise, we have no idea, what stage the user is on. You have to rely on a browser event to actually have robust tracking in place. So you can see after the trial starts, we actually have another trial started success page as well on Framer, and then the trial starts. And then we created an evergreen email sequence. So the similar email sequence that we ran during Black Friday leading to the end of the Black Friday deal, when we close the deal, we have an evergreen email sequence that runs exclusively for everyone that signs up into the application, and that gets automated during their trial. And so the sequence kind of runs as so. You just have an introduction email talking about the product and how they can get value out of it. And then as you come to the later emails in the sequence, we encourage them to buy, and this is the last chance they'll have to buy this offer because we're going to be taking down the offer, right? And once their trial is over, they still have the option to buy the deal, and we give them another opportunity via email like 3 days later after the trial is over, just as a reminder. So literally the last chance over there. And by that time, if they don't buy, we decide to turn them into like a cold lead, and we move them away from our email campaigns, right? So that is really the funnel. But the most important here that I'm trying to highlight is these pages over here that are important for tracking, even down to post-purchase, right? Inside the app, once they choose either lifetime or monthly, and they buy via Stripe, because again, Stripe is an external link, so we come out of the app to an external link. Once they purchase, we redirect them. We have a success page for monthly plan and a lifetime plan. Again, the main purpose of this is for tracking implementation. And so that's how you make this funnel more sophisticated. Just to show you what that looks like on my pages on Framer, you can see here's the success page for lifetime. You've upgraded to unlimited, and we kind of try to make it valuable for the user. We show some important links. We have a button over here that if you click it, it takes you back to the application. And then we also have some more information about that mobile app, as well as the download links in case they lost it, right? So try to make the pages valuable overall, but all these pages over here, the get started page, the lifetime success, the monthly success, the yearly success, are all just tracking pages in essence, just to make sure we create that event so we know at what stage the user is within our funnel. So once you have this funnel in place with all the tracking implemented, we now have the confidence to run our ad campaigns. It's so important to get that visibility if you're spending on ads. If you're blind and you have no idea what your users are doing inside of your funnel and you're spending on ads, it's a really risky way to run your business. So definitely put your tracking in place. This is how we did it for our desktop app. So going back into our revenue graph, just to give more context about how we continued our experimentation. So we switch on that Evergreen campaign by January 2024. We have ad tracking in place. Everyone's experiencing their own exclusive FOMO and scarcity in our funnel. I don't think there's a code of ethics breach over here. It's really important for a startup to generate sales. And so we're just essentially offering people a window of opportunity to buy our deal. And we're creating that scarcity per user that enters the funnel. Every user has a small window of opportunity to buy our offer, right? And that's an optimized funnel because you need some form of scarcity. You need people to take action, especially when you're a startup. Now, once we had our Evergreen funnel set up with the emails, the landing pages, and the whole buying journey, we were able to now run some ads. So we brought on Nicola, who's our PPC expert, who runs all of our ads to this day. The main channel is Meta, right? We do some stuff on TikTok, on YouTube, Google Ads, and as well as Reddit, but the main channel is Meta. That you can't overlook that. So we started to take that cash injection that we got from our Black Friday campaign in 2023 and reinvested it into some ad experiments. So I created a couple of ad creatives myself in the beginning. In the beginning, they weren't doing so well. We're just about breaking even, maybe making a loss or making a little bit of ROI, maybe 1.1x or 1.2x, super little ROI at that time. But overall, we weren't completely burning out our 20K balance. We were kind of maintaining that 20K range of cash balance. And so we were just about breaking even overall, like the blended ROAS was just about breaking even. And around April 2024, we started working with some UCG creators in my network. They produced some ads that we bought commercial rights of. Those ads, started to perform a bit better. And then we started to see, okay, what are the kind of angles and messaging that actually works. We then did some further optimizations in our funnel. We released some new features like Google Calendar, our Notion integration, and some other improvements based on user feedback. And as things started to progress, we started to see an uptick in revenue. And now towards June 2024, I started actually taking some of the winning ideas, creating my own content myself. Now I'm a UCG creator as well on Instagram, TikTok, and all these platforms. So I'm very efficient at creating videos, as you guys may know. So I produced my own creatives of me just using Blitzit. And that actually started to get a lot of traction. We had two creatives that are clear winners. One was just more of like a polished UCG style edit of me using Blitzit and showing all the different features. But another winning creative that also outperformed most of the creatives that we were using, even all of the UCG creators that we worked with, was the most basic, simple video. It was literally me taking out my phone and just off the cuff, just kind of showing Blitzit and being like really shaky camera, being like, oh, check out Blitzit. I've spent this much time on my task. I'm going to smash that done button. Oh, look how satisfying that is. So this goes to show that you shouldn't be perfectionist with your ad creatives. It's more about just trying as many different styles of creatives as possible with different hooks and messaging, and then you'll eventually find the winning creatives. And oftentimes, it's the kind of like the most basically produced ads that win, right? And that's when we saw this uptick in revenue. And once we saw those winning creatives, we just invested in only those creatives, and we saw we was generating consistent ROI, around 1.52x ROI, 3x on a good day. But blended ROAS was around 1.52, right? Obviously, we didn't have tons of cash to risk and pour into ads because we only had $20,000. We were also starting to pay our team by then and some other developers. So we had to kind of be really careful. But this is when we started to lead up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday 2024. And because we had this ammunition, we knew what creatives worked. We were able to optimize the funnel even further in preparation for a hugely successful Black Friday, Cyber Monday 2024. Now, before we jump into that part, we're going to mark this segment as done. And let's jump into what we did for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. All right, so it's getting evening time over here, so I had to wrap up as soon as possible, but thankfully we've only got 2 parts remaining for this video. Jumping into Black Friday, Cyber Monday 2024. This is where the magic started to happen. If you recall the revenue graph, look at this, right? So October 2024, boom, 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 and we're consistently hitting these incredible numbers. How did it get to this? And that's, of course, the big question I'm sure everyone would have, right? We had done all these experiments, as I mentioned, throughout 2024. So we found winning angles for ad creatives, messaging, and the style of emails as well, which we optimized. By the time we were coming towards October 2024, not only do we have an improved funnel, but we also collected a bunch of leads because these ad campaigns, remember, they're not only just converting people into users, but they're also being converted into leads. And in fact, we have a bigger leads bucket because a lot of people are first giving us their email on the landing page before signing up into the app. Now, we've taken that down. We now just have a direct to download button, which takes you straight to the download page. But previously, this was very different. If I kind of squeeze this window, you'll notice when you go into the mobile responsive version, you can see there's a button and an email field, right? And this is how we used to collect emails. Now, we still do that on iPad and mobile because if they're on iPad and mobile, we didn't have a mobile app until very recently, and even then, they can only access it via a private community because it's in sort of private beta, right? And so we still have this email field on a mobile and iPad because we want to capture emails in case they drop off because there's no way for them to download the desktop app on a mobile device and install it. So it's very likely they would drop off if we don't collect their email. So on mobile and iPad, we collect their email. We then send them an email with the download links to the app so that next time they're on their desktop machine, they can get access to the email and find the link to download the app, right? So that really helps, of course, right? But this is just to show you that throughout 2024, we actually had an email capture field here, as well as on the navigation bar. We had an email capture right on the navigation bar too. And that's why we collected all these emails throughout 2024. So coming into Black Friday 2024, we have an improved funnel, we have a bigger email list, and we have an improved product with new features as well. So we're pretty well set up for this launch. Now, because we built this level of confidence, it was time to go all out, right? When you have the confidence to really go all out, you really should go all out. Now, you might be asking yourself, what do I mean by going all out? Well, what I mean by that is that if you want to have a truly successful lifetime deal launch campaign, you need to cover a specific checklist, right? And I'm going to go through this entire checklist now. What constitutes a successful lifetime deal launch? And I've been doing this a few years now. My very first software launch was a lifetime deal campaign, again, synced with Black Friday. And so there's even more specific items on that list if you're going to sync your launch with a Black Friday campaign, which I recommend you do because you can maximize results that way. It's not essential. You can do lifetime deal launches outside of Black Friday, but I definitely recommend it, especially if your product fits into that category of like impulse buy, right? Which I hope it does, because this is what this playbook is for impulse buy software products, right? And so try to launch it in parallel with the Black Friday campaign, but it depends on the traffic sources. You know, Black Friday is great because you can get traffic from communities, from Product Hunt, from partners, from everywhere. And if you want to do it outside of Black Friday, if you have a curated email list, that is more than enough as well. And I've done that a few times in the past, and I've reaped exceptional results by doing that. So there's two areas of traffic that you want to be sourcing for this campaign, and ideally you need both. Number one is you need a curated email list that you've been gathering over a period of time. You know, it could be 6 months, 7 months, a year, however long, and you've built this email list of targeted personas who are interested, genuinely interested in your product, and you want to remarket this list and make sure you've done some warming campaigns in the prior to your big launch campaign, because when you go into your launch campaign, you're going to go really aggressive with a 7 email sequence, and so you want to do a warm campaign to your email list. You can see just before our Black Friday campaign, you can see this is the Black Friday sequence, the 7 email sequence I was just speaking about. Started on the 5th of November. Just before that, we had in November 19th, and prior to that even, I think we even had another email on November 13th and November 4th. These are newsletter emails that are not really focused on an offer or anything like that, but rather focused on just providing updates, company updates, right? So you can see over here, this is our newsletter. We launched on Product Hunt. That's another key element in that checklist, which I'll talk about in a moment. Features, value, resources, that kind of thing, right? And that's what helps activate a cold email list that you may have. You know, maybe they've been engaged in the past, but they're not prepared for a highly aggressive email campaign, a sales or promo campaign that you're going to run on Black Friday. So run a couple of newsletters, right? That's what I recommend, and it's very likely that people that fall beyond 90 days or 60 days of activity will come back into activity because they would have engaged with one of your emails, thereby falling into that 30-day window of active users, right? Ideally, an active user base within your email list would be people that have opened your emails within 30 days. And the second part is running your campaign with partners, right? We do this in 2 ways. We leverage early adopter lifetime deal groups. Those groups are kind of dying down slightly, but you can find other curated communities, maybe through an influencer or Discord, wherever your users live. You want to find those communities and speak to the admins of those communities and launch a deal and offer over there. I like lifetime deal communities because those people are specifically looking for lifetime deal offers, and you find them peppered around Facebook. So that's a valid channel as well. And another really important channel is Product Hunt as well. So email, Product Hunt, lifetime deal communities, and partners, right? Those are your main channels. Product Hunt is great because it gives you tons of traffic on launch day. And a Product Hunt listing also has its own checklist, right? You need a great tagline. Here's our captivating tagline. You need a great, SEO-driven description. You need to work with a hunter. We worked with Kevin William David. And what's great about people like him is that he's a genuine hunter where he has a list of curated Product Hunt enthusiasts, and he will launch it to his list. And people who are genuinely interested in your product are the ones that will come and poke around. So which is, really cool. So it's not a black hat tactic, but rather you're getting genuine people coming on your listing. The other element of a successful product hunt launch is an exceptional promo video. And you can see this is our promo video over here. I produced this in October 2024, gearing up for this big launch. And I chose to do this sort of founder-driven one. And you can do this in different ways. You can have a motion graphics animated promo video. We did that in Glorify. If you actually go to glorify.com's website, you can see this promo video over here is like sort of a more motion style promo video, which performed really well as well. You can see like the way we showcase the product is really, really captivating. So what's really important is that you just need to captivate people via your promo video. That's the important ingredient of a successful promo video. And it is a cornerstone for a successful lifetime deal campaign. The video is really important because this video is not going to just exist on your product hunt listing page, but it's also going to exist on your lifetime deal landing page. And this is our lifetime deal landing page. You can see the same promo video exists right over here. And what constitutes a successful promo video? There's a specific structure that you want to put in place. Number one, you need a powerful hook, a hook that really shocks you or is a bold hook that captivates your attention. Number two, you need a powerful way of telling your story about why you built the product, how it helps a specific problem, and why yours is different, right? And the way I've told my story is that, and this is the fact here, as I was scratching my own itch. I built Blitzit because I found that the existing to-do list applications were just not serving me in the way I felt it should, right? And hence why I designed and built Blitzit. And so you want a compelling story that talks about the problem and solution, really embody and tell the story. That's really key. The second part is that you want to have beautiful product shots, of course, of your product in the promo video. You can see over here, we've produced beautiful shots of the promo video. And I do this by using a tool called Screen Studio. It's a fantastic screen recording tool that it's only available on Mac OS. So if you don't have Mac OS, it might not work, but it does a great job of just creating beautiful and engaging screen recordings, right? So I couple that with my own shots and my own motion graphics. I'm also a motion designer, so I can create cool graphics like this and just create captivating product shots. The fourth part I want to go into is this part over here. Is towards the end of your promo video, you want to talk about the future. You want to talk about your roadmap, what you want to build. You also want to talk about your community, how your community is building up and it's growing really rapidly. And you want to bring a lot of those testimonials in the promo video as well as on the landing page as well. You can see over here. So the fourth thing is the future, the roadmap, and the community, right? You want to really focus on that. And the final part is the call to action. You want to talk about how you have this one-time offer that's running at the moment. So grab this offer while it lasts. It's not going to last for long. So those are the mechanics of your promo video. The promo video, like I said, is a cornerstone to your success. It lives on your lifetime deal landing page as well as it lives on your product hunt listing if you're doing a product hunt launch, which I recommend, right? And if you do your product hunt launch right, you have a beautiful promo video. You have some great images for your product hunt carousel that really communicates the value of your product. And you have a powerful founder statement, which is the statement that goes as the first comment, which Product Hunt automatically pins at the top. Once you have all these elements together and you work with the right hunter, you're going to have lots of great feedback. As you can see, we did on our product hunt launch. All of this is really positive feedback and people that are genuinely interested in our product. And as you go to the bottom, you can see that we actually ranked for number 4 because we got all of these elements right. And I have a track record of getting a lot of successful product hunt launches, getting to number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And in fact, we also ranked for number 12 of the week as well, which is fantastic. And because of being ranked at the higher level of the product hunt feed on that day and even the week, we got tons of traffic, a huge amount of traffic. I don't have the numbers right now, but on the day, I believe it was November 19th, 2024, just before Black Friday, we got tons of traffic and tons of signups, which is fantastic because people are really warm, people are really excited. They've gone through that onboarding flow and gotten to that aha moment. So they're already like primed to buy, right? Which is what you want. You want to prime people to buy just before you launch the deal. So product hunt launch is key. We also link the product hunt launch to our main landing page. And yes, it's going to the home page, not the offer page. But what we also do, this little timer widget, and we would actually link this widget to the lifetime deal page. So people would come over the home page, try to download the app, but they also know there's an offer going on. So they'll click this link to check out that offer. The other ingredient is the landing page. Of course, I already came to this landing page. The key part of the landing page is having the video, of course, but there's other elements of the landing page that are really important. You need a lot of social proof, and the social proof that I include is the product hunt badge. Once we've gotten our badge for that day, we launched it in November 19th. So the next day we got our number 4 product of the day badge. We put it right away on our site so that as we're coming closer to the 25th of November, which is our launch day, we already had that social proof, which is really important. We work with some creators and we put those videos up. We also have, a big wall of love with authentic reviews. If you actually click the links to this, it will actually take you to our product hunt listing of the review itself. So you want them to be authentic. I always believe in actually linking your reviews to the actual review so that people can confirm them. We have a lot of scarcity mechanics. So we have a countdown timer over here. The timer's not there right now. It used to be there. Right now it just says last chance, but essentially you'd have a countdown timer leading to the end of the deal. So you want to keep maybe a week, 2 weeks for the deal to run. Just a good amount of balance for people to feel like it's not there for too long, but they also have enough time to think about it as well. So you don't want to condense it into too short a time, like less than a week, because if you condense it below a week, people might panic and not even decide to buy. But what I find is between a week and 2 weeks is the sweet spot. Anything beyond 2 weeks, if you extend it between like 3 to 4 weeks, beyond a month, then people just tend to procrastinate, right? So definitely 1 to 2 weeks is what I recommend. And if you go down to this landing page, again, a lot of the similar elements on our main homepage are here, but we brought the social proof at the very top from different review platforms. How it works is important, and then the features, and then again, more social proof, lots of call to actions, more features, the offer itself. And again, we had a timer on the offer itself right here, a countdown timer. And then the wall of love, and then the roadmap, which is really important because people that are investing in a lifetime offer of your application, they want to know that they're investing in the future as well. So you want to showcase what's coming. So we showcase all of our unique features that we're building and how far along some of the features are. And as you scroll down, you can see we are even launching a mobile app, which has been launched, by the way. So we're not making false promises here. And then finally, just kind of ending the landing page with some more social proof, FAQ, that sort of thing. So that's what constitutes a good lifetime deal landing page, mostly social proof and a lot of scarcity mechanics and communicating your features, no doubt, but also, of course, that highly engaging and fantastic promo video of your product story, right? And just to add to this, the reason why I decided to do a founder-led promo video is because my target audience are digital remote professionals, mostly CEOs, founders, marketers. It's not curated to any specific role, but just broadly all digital professionals that work remote mostly, right? And so people that work remote can really relate to this kind of storytelling where I'm shooting the actual content in my home office, right? And that's the idea and why I actually ran with this style. Now, the other part of this checklist that I recommend is that if you have a PPC expert in-house or you've hired someone to run your ads, your paid ad campaigns, it's really valuable to set up retargeting ads, because once you launch your campaign publicly to your email list, to communities, to partners, you're going to get a lot of traffic coming to the site and they might drop off because it's very likely that most people won't buy right away. They'll check out your landing page, they'll be genuinely interested, but they'll drop off. And so to bring them back, you want to run retargeting ads. You have a pixel installed on your landing page for this offer, and the people that visit your landing page will see your ads on the platforms they spend time on. And this is very likely, again, Instagram and Facebook for the most part. And so we run tons of retargeting ads via Meta, Instagram, Facebook, bringing people back to the landing page to buy the offer. And even if they don't necessarily click the link in your ads, you're also keeping your offer top of mind, especially during Black Friday, right? Because a lot of people during Black Friday, during this period, are primed to buy. They might not be writing it down, but it's very likely they have a mental note of their shopping list. And so you want to launch these retargeting ads so that you stay on top of their mind. So I definitely recommend running retargeting ads. Last but not least, you need to also have an aggressive email campaign. Now, as mentioned, we were already collecting leads since our early access launch in 2022. And so by that time, we had grown our list significantly. Now, this sequence needs to be very aggressive. I recommend 7 emails back to back across the span of 1 to 2 weeks. So we did it between 25th and all the way to the November 30th. So that's even less than 2 weeks. That's about 5 days, right? So you can see how aggressive we went. And typically the way we run our strategy is that we have this very specific sequence. The first email is a very kind of, clickbait subject line. You can see the subject line I ran was, I need to be real with you. So people that would see that would be really confused. And then when you actually open the email, it's a long story format. So I'm talking about how my life was chaotic in 2022 and how my biggest challenge wasn't skills or motivation, but it was like my ADHD like brain. And I talked about, how I was just not feeling productive. And then I realized that I need to build my own tool. Building my own product to scratch my own itch actually helped me achieve phenomenal results the year that I started using Blitzit for myself, right? And you can see, and this is actually true. This is not just, gaslighting people. This is genuinely what happened. When I started using Blitzit, I actually was able to be way more productive. I started being more productive on my social media, my personal brand. I started launching more digital products for more passive income. I started going and speaking at events. I had other product hunt launches. I had more client work. I was genuinely extremely productive when I started using Blitzit. So as you can see, I'm sharing the story with real images that's actually validating these stories. And finally, I also add a final curated shot of how Blitzit is progressing. So this adds another layer of social proof that Blitzit is growing in revenue. We're growing our MRR. So people have more kind of trust in what we're building, right? And finally, we kind of talk about the call to action where I say, I related to them. I pass the buck back to them and saying, look, achieving your dreams is not rocket science and you can do it too. And I believe that Blitzit can help you in your journey. So that's the kind of storytelling email that I did. And again, another layer of social proof of actual people in our community bigging up Blitzit. That really helps, of course. And essentially that's what the email sequence is. Again, really long email. It even goes into features of Blitzit. It goes into our promo video, and it finally goes into the call to action to grab our deal. So very long email, yes, but it works. It helps. So you can see the open rate for that is 49% and a 2% CTR, which is not bad at all. Now, am I saying you do long form emails for all 7 emails? Not at all. You have to vary them significantly, right? So some of them are going to be long form, some of them are going to be super short form. So you can see email number 2, for example, again, was just a straight up promo email, just saying that we have this lifetime deal, it's ending this week, cut to the chase, no beating around the bush, get this deal, you need it, it's going to help you with your freedom, this is how it helps you. Not very short, but a much more shorter and snappier email. So that's email number 2. Email number 3, again, I think is more kind of clickbait, is time real, very confusing subject line. I like to rotate between a very clear subject line as well as a very confusing subject line. So it kind of helps with the open rate, it helps curiosity, right? So when people click this, again, it kind of goes into this, funny concept that is time real or is it just a game? And then I kind of connect that into, how time is something that's always slipping from our hands, and this is where Blitzit comes in. So the story always connects back into your product and how it can actually help you, become more successful, right? And again, going back through the same elements: social proof, reviews, how Blitzit is growing, the future of Blitzit, building more trust, building more loyalty, and then the call to action again. And don't forget, there's lots of scarcity in the email as well. We're saying that it's not going to be available for too long, and we also have only a limited amount of slots, right? So we're putting a cap on the seats and we're putting a cap on the timeline. So there's lots of limits, and that kind of helps encourage people buy. And I'm going to skip a few emails. I know there's a lot here, so we're going to go to like the later emails. So let's go to like email 6, for example. 2025, the year to embrace your flow. So this is more like motivational. Again, nothing complicated, talking about how they're going to crush their 2025 because it's November, right? So we're coming to a new year shortly. And again, different approach, showing a picture, a GIF of me working hard, showing, talking about flow state. That's a term, that's a buzzword. And then the final email is always just a straightforward sales email. Nothing confusing, just 8 hours left, you're in or you're out. And that's what you typically want to do for your last emails in the sequence, right? No beating around the bush, just focus on the offer. I even put a countdown timer in the email itself. And the way I do that is I use a fantastic tool to design my emails. It's called Strippo. This is the tool, go check it out. I think the URL is strippo.email, so go do check that out. And it's just a really easy way of designing beautiful email and then exporting it to any of your preferred email delivery platforms, right? And so that's how I design my emails if you're curious. But Again, very simple email talking about the offer, that it's running out, claim it before it runs out. And then really going into like the value of the offer, like how much they're saving, what's the total value of the product itself, what's the discount that they're getting, what's the features they're getting. So this is, they've seen all the storytelling, they've seen all the buzzwords. The last few emails, you just want to be straightforward and talk about what they're missing out on and what's coming in the future, and then just getting them to buy. So keep it really straightforward. And so that's how I do my 7 email sequence during Black Friday. But then I do a comeback campaign on Cyber Monday as like an encore. And I tell everyone, look, because of popular demand, people requested it again. I have no choice but to launch this offer again. And people jump on it. Surprisingly, people jump on it. And you can see the open rate over here is super healthy, anywhere between 40 to 50%, right? Which is fantastic. So Cyber Monday 1, 2, and 3, and then we had a Cyber Week 1, 2, and 3. So we went pretty aggressive. During Christmas, we had a bit of a quiet time, and then we came back on Christmas Eve, I think 24th, I believe is Christmas Eve, I'm not sure. And then we did a newsletter just to kind of break up our promo-ness into like more, genuine value. And this was just kind of a celebratory, a happy holidays type of email that we launched just to kind of thank the community for supporting us, etc. And a cheeky deal again here as well with the Christmas offer too. So yeah, I do slot in some offers. I'm pretty aggressive during this period. And then New Year is another important one, especially for a productivity tool. New Year, new me. If you're doing business software that people would like to utilize for Q1 into the new year, then anyone can adopt this messaging. It works really well for productivity tools, of course, but I think it could work with a lot of other business tools as well. Now, what's really important is that I also apply a lot of filters as my campaign emails progress, because I don't want to have a lot of people assign our emails to spam, mess our deliverability rates. And so the way I kind of control that is, as my emails progress, I start to exclude a lot of people from the sequence by excluding people that maybe open a bunch of emails during Black Friday but didn't buy, for example. So they're clearly not interested, so I'll exclude them during my campaigns that come afterwards. If people are not interested, they're not interested. So that's pretty much it for email. To really take conversions to the roof, we had to apply another approach of selling our application. The way people buy our application, as you remember, is from inside of the application. So people come to the homepage first. So we have 12,000 people coming over here. They get added to our list because they give us their email. We then send them to download the application, and then they proceed to purchase a plan, right, inside of the application. And there's a little bit of drop off in this funnel, right? If people come in and the first thing they need to do is download the application, it's an 8% conversion to give us their email, and then a 35% conversion of that list that actually proceeds to download and install the application. So a little bit of drop off over here, which then results, despite having 12,000 people come to this homepage when I did this funnel, only 78 people proceeded to buy one of our plans. And out of that, only 62 people decided to buy our lifetime deal plan, which is the main way we actually generate a lot of cash flow up front. And this is problematic because, the conversion does significantly drop off if you're relying on people to download the app just to purchase. And things completely change when we allowed people to buy directly on our website. And this is the funnel for that. Now, the people that come to this lifetime deal page, once they decide to buy, we actually send them directly to a lifetime deal purchase form on Stripe, where they can enter their bank details and proceed to purchase the offer directly without having to download the application. And the way we actually give them a way to activate their license inside of their Blitzit account is by sending them a license key, which they then have to input right over here. Here's the license key input. So once they enter the license key, it gets assigned to their account, and now they have access to the lifetime deal plan. This only works for this lifetime deal offer. We can only assign it to lifetime deal offers at the moment because of the logic that's involved. And so essentially that's how it works. That's how people are buying directly from the site. And it was not until we set up this purchase journey that we started to see conversions go through the roof, right? It was a huge difference. So we started sending all of the traffic from our ad campaigns straight to the landing page. And you can see similar numbers, 13,000 people on this landing page, not far off from the home page, which is 12,000. Yet the difference, look at that, $53,000 of purchases. Out of the 13,000, 10% proceed to actually choose to buy the plan. And once they're inside of our payment form, we see a 60% conversion rate within the Stripe payment form, right? Which is huge. And this is one of the reasons we generate these incredible revenues, $53,000 in January alone. Now, of course, our ad expense is significant. We spent around $30,000 that month, but you can see the profit is still really decent, around $27,000 in profit, right? And this is why this funnel is really, really working. Both of these funnels work together in a really kind of symbiotic way, because organic traffic tends to land on the homepage. And then when people land on the homepage and try the application, that's a good thing as well. But even people landing on the homepage, we retarget those people and send them back to the main deal page so that they go through this conversion journey too. So they do really function really well together. And for those people that drop off the deal page because, maybe they don't want to, jump in on the first date, they want to, try the application, they eventually stumble across our homepage to download the app for free and give it a trial run, right? So it really works well together. You need both in place, not just the offer page. And that's essentially how we're succeeding. Now, once we realize this was the winning formula, and we crossed off every element on the checklist, we have our winning email sequence, we have our winning ad creatives, we have our winning funnel, we have our winning messaging, and we have our winning promo video, which we then diced up as well, the promo video that I showed you, into shorter segments to run as ad creatives as well, in those kind of story and like 4x5 formats for social media. And we started running those as ads. And what ended up happening was, we're able to turn this campaign into an evergreen campaign. And that's exactly what you're seeing over here. In the last quarter, going back to the beginning of this video, the reason why we've had this incredible quarter so far, $237,000 in the last 3 months alone, is because we have this evergreen funnel running. We have this winning funnel where we're sending consistent traffic via our ad campaigns with exclusive scarcity to each individual user that comes into this landing page and are compelled to buy because they don't want to miss out on this offer. And of course, there is a time that we will eventually switch off this offer, but we want to generate as much cash as possible. And the cool thing about it is, because as mentioned in the very early point of this video, because we have this price difference between our monthly plan and lifetime deal plan, there's a big price difference, and the monthly plan is super affordable. People are still choosing the monthly plan over the lifetime deal plan. And so as we still run these ad campaigns, there's a natural adoption of our monthly plans over here. And now as well, our annual plans contributing to this, right? And so people look at the monthly plan and annual plan, they're like, look, I don't want to spend $77 or $97 on the lifetime. I'm happy paying $4.99 a month. I'll just stick to this plan, and I'm comfortable paying what's equivalent to a cup of coffee in maybe some countries, right? So that's pretty much the strategy. I'm going to keep running the strategy while we continuously feed our product, build all these next frontiers. We already built the mobile app, as I showed you in the beginning of the video. We have some great integrations coming up: ClickUp, Trello, AI features, community features, a bunch of really cool gamification features. So lots of exciting stuff to come. But of course, no doubt, we need to just keep focusing and doubling down on this channel that's working. And while this channel is working, by the way, we can't be complacent and just let it run. We do need to keep switching out the creative so that people don't have ad fatigue. So that's a really important thing that we're doing. And in fact, let's go into what we're doing for the future. I'm going to mark the Black Friday campaign 2024 as done. And so the way we're looking to scale and keep growing is opening up new channels of revenue. So now we have a bunch of healthy SEO content. If you go to our blog, we have a lot of regular articles that are popping up in our blog that are rich in keywords for those, target keywords that we want to rank for. And we're starting to show up on page 1 for some of those keywords, which is fantastic. And not only are we producing lots of blog articles, but we also are producing free tools like our free Pomodoro timer on our website, which is a great tool with like focus music, focus sounds, a little task widget over here. You can select sounds over here. You can select music over here. You have different settings for your Pomodoro, how much focus time you want to implement, how much break time. You have an embed code if you want to embed this Pomodoro widget in your Notion. And if you click start, you can actually start the timer like this. And so this page, this free tool is SEO optimized. And lots of people spend a lot of time on this page because they want to use a free Pomodoro timer, which is really cool. And free tools is a powerful strategy to grow your organic traffic. This is something that's been validated by the founders of V.io, whose cornerstone of success came from launching tons of free resources on their website, which led to a ton of traffic, organic traffic, landing on their website and discovering their more flagship product, right? These free tools has a little call to action, as you can see, to try the main flagship product. And as you scroll down, there's a lot of rich SEO content about what a Pomodoro timer is, who created it, how it can help you, and how our Pomodoro timer is unique. So there's your SEO content. And then again, another call to action to the main app. We're fleshing out comparison pages like this one that's comparing other competitors or complementary tools with our own tool. And again, this is really helpful for people that are still window shopping. And so the whole strategy here is, the ad campaigns are working. We're growing our MRR, we're growing cash balance, but we also want to really grow our organic game as well. And organic is king. If you can get your organic to work, then you don't ever have to rely on paid traffic. And so this is what we're doubling down on. And last but not least, even just before our Black Friday launch, we did have our partner program in place. This is the affiliate program that you see over here, which is done via Rewardful. We offer a 20% uncapped affiliate program for everyone that wants to get involved. And in fact, if you go to our Rewardful program, you can see how the incredible results we've been able to achieve. We've already crossed $30,000 since launching it around just before Black Friday, right? And we have just 410 affiliates contributing to this revenue. So if you look at some of the most high paid affiliates, they've been generating anywhere up to $8,000 in net, which is incredible. It's a fantastic model. Don't sleep on running an affiliate program. And last but not least, as part of this entire growth strategy, we're also doubling down on community. So our Discord community is growing really fast. We already have 3,000 members in the community. We have all of the onboarding for our product, education of our product, as well as some dedicated channels for interests that relate to productivity, as well as anything that really helps your overall well-being and productivity. We have channels for that and people are engaging on there. We have a support channel and we also have kind of focus channels. So if you want to listen to lo-fi music, you can come over here and hang out. It's really fun. So that's our little focus channel. We have the general channel, as you can see. Again, lots of people engaging over here. Yeah, people sharing their wins. Yeah, so lots of engagement happening in these channels, which is really, really encouraging. And you can see a lot of people trickling in, dropping their introductions as they join the channel. And the coolest part, if you type productivity on the Discord Discover feed, we are going to be number 2 spot. So this is our future. This is scale and future. We're doubling down on organic. We're opening up new channels, free tools, blog, comparison pages. And we have a bunch of other stuff that we want to implement, more partnerships, more free resources. And for every integration we launch, like ClickUp, Trello coming out, we want to do dedicated campaigns for those. And we'll see, if we can get this MRR to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 MRR and keep growing that cash balance, then what I'd love to do is potentially raise maybe some funding round, and this could be way down the line. I'm not interested in raising anytime soon. I just came off the back of a VC-backed startup, Glorify, and I sold that startup, and that was years in the making. So I have no interest to get into VC right away, but definitely it's something that's on my radar. If things continue to work really well as we're bootstrapping this with minimal effort on my part, because I've already just set everything up. And for the most part, it's this incredible team that's behind me that's doing all of the hard work, right? If you go in our Slack, you can see it's these guys. This is the guys that are putting all the hours and work in. It's all these A players that are really driving the success as well. And so I have to give a huge shout out to all of them. But this is the reason why we're currently winning right now, and we just keep optimizing things. We keep optimizing little elements within the landing page, the education, the help center, the knowledge for the product as well. We need to find a content creator. That's on our radar as well for the future of 2025, to have someone dedicated in the team that's constantly creating valuable content on YouTube, on Instagram, and growing those channels organically. So that's another strategy I want to put in place. But yeah, this is pretty much what we're doing at Blitzit, and this is how we're able to generate these incredible results via a full-fledged lifetime deal campaign. One thing I want to also do a special shout out to, one of the reasons we've been able to be so successful that we can't ignore is because of this incredible platform, Framer. Framer just makes it so easy for our entire team to create beautiful pages for our campaigns, for our landing page, for our offer pages, for everything that we're doing. It gives robust analytics. The free tools that we've been creating these free tools with custom overrides. We have an AI task generator coming on one of our pages very soon. Again, all of this is built with custom components and code overrides within Framer. So there's so much flexibility for creating pages with no code, just design skills, as well as also doing more complex stuff if you work with a developer, such as these free tools that we created. And of course, our marketing team are doing all the work on our blogs as well. It's perfect for a team-wide workflow. So we have all of our marketers coming into our CMS and controlling and publishing this content. And really without Framer, we just wouldn't have achieved these incredible results. Because before Framer, the work that we'd have to put in to launch a knowledge base, to launch our blog, to launch this beautiful landing page with beautiful animations would take months. And now it just takes us days, sometimes hours, right? And this has been truly, truly a game changer. People come on our landing page and they fall in love with the product before even using it because of the way we presented our brand, the way we presented our product within the website itself, and this is because of Framer. So guys, if you are interested in Framer, do click the link below. There's a link to try out Framer for free. And do stay tuned because very soon I'm going to be actually launching my very own Framer for Founders course, right? So if you want to learn all of this stuff and how to create high converting landing pages with Framer, then this is the course that you want to check out. So it's going to be coming really soon. So you just have to keep following this channel and check out some of the links below if you're interested in both Blitzit, some of the other resources that I'm providing. But other than that, if you're new to this channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch up with you guys in a future video. Take care. Man, that took a while. Finally. And it's time to take a break.